I just want to start by giving you one question. Have you ever tried to give a definition to the word hope? H-O-P-E. I'm not going to grade anybody, but give just 2 seconds of reflection about this word hope. It's not a simple word to define. I have lived all my life trying to look for a definition of hope, and I've never got it. In that failure, I decided to live with hope. I decided to live in hope. And the reason why I decided to give my own definition is because I was caught up in a very difficult situation in 1986 when the Lord's Resistance Army just started their war. I was there. I prayed and I wanted to say, God, why did you send me here? I found myself helpless. And in my helplessness, I decided to look towards God to give me that one word, hope, and love and acceptance. I lived in a situation where you would wish night was day. And if you go to sleep, you would wonder, will morning ever come? And if morning comes, who am I going to get at the door with a gun? I felt so helpless. But later on, I realized in that heart of the war, I was not as helpless as the little ones, who the rebels would come and take in front of their parents, take to train as child soldiers. Little girls would be used as sex slaves. I still recall one boy, 10 years old, who was asked what he ever did when he was in captivity. He could hardly look up. He was looking down, and he said, I was forced with 3 of my friends to stab a woman to death, and I will never forget that. And when we killed her, we were told to move away. Another boy, 15 years old, was asked, how many people did you kill? He said, I don't remember the number, but roughly 120 people. You kill under the supervision of an elder who must make sure you have done it. I have lived with these people. I have lived with the young girls who came helplessly with children got from rape, children got from sexual violence from the rebels. I lived with these girls who had children who had no fathers because their fathers remained behind fighting. Girls who had lost hope. Young boys, young kids who had no life, no reason to live for. That is when I began to define hope. I said, my situation is a little better than all these people. And now I am caught up in this difficult situation. I have no way of standing up to the rebels. I discovered I had the biggest tool to fight back. I had the best gun. You know what my gun was? Hope. My gun was love. Machine gun of acceptance. That's all. I said, I will collect these young people, help them to walk in hope, help them to remember their past because they are totally ashamed of speaking of their past. I said, remember the past. Don't get trapped in it. I lived through that situation. I didn't get trapped in it. I am moving on. Let us move on. I always considered myself like a failure because I didn't know what I was doing. I was not trained as a counselor. I was not trained as a teacher, but I decided to use every knowledge I had. But the best knowledge I had was the knowledge which God gave me, accepting people, walking in love, and carrying them in my hands. You know, it will be very difficult for any of us here to talk about hope if you have never been caught in a situation. You need to meet people, even in this society, who are walking like dead people. They've lost hope. And those are the people you need to talk to. Point to the future of hope. Tell them your life can be reconstructed. In our modern world, in our society, not only here, even in Uganda and everywhere, we are all preoccupied with reconstruction of the infrastructure, bridges, houses. We are building walls. Are we concerned with reconstruction of people's lives? You have people whose lives are shattered here. You have people, I'm telling you about in Uganda, young kids. How concerned are you about this reconstruction of these lives? How are you participating in pointing to a future of hope? How are you telling them that their tomorrow can be better than today? It is your part to say it. I can easily tell you all, why are you sitting down? Stand up. Stand up for hope. Stand up and say, we are going to show the way. You need to be part of it. It's not enough to hear. I always say, whatever happened in northern Uganda or in Uganda, which broke our life, which broke the life of kids, must be a lesson for everybody, because that situation can be transferred anywhere in the world. And don't be caught by surprise. Get prepared that it can happen anywhere. But are you recalling that God has given you one machine gun? Hope. Can you stand up for hope? Yes, you can. It is very, very important for us to go back and see in our own lives when we lived a broken life. Why is Sister Rosemary concerned with the reconstruction of life and how is she doing it? Some of you came in, you saw people collecting pop tabs for me. What are the pop tabs for? The pop tabs are significant on reconstruction of life. These are things which are considered as trash. These young women, the boys, the kids are considered as trash. But I have to teach them that you can make your life beautiful. You can learn to make these purses. If these purses can be beautiful, yet they came from trash, things people threw away, even you can have your life beautifully reconstructed. That is the greatest skill we could give these girls. And today, most of these girls, most of these young women are walking with their heads up. They are living in dignity because they know they can hold a needle to mend their own brokenness. But the truth is, they can't do it alone. They need all of us. We need to help them to hold that needle. Don't ever be caught to say, I don't know how to sew. I don't know how to hold a needle. I don't know how to mend a dress. You can mend life. You can give hope. Until we are able to hold people near us who are living a helpless life, painful life, we hold them, put them on our shoulders, walk in their shoes, feel their pain, cry with them, then we shall be able to define that word, hope. And don't think anybody can give you the definition of hope. You must get your own definition. Don't go to the dictionary to look for this definition because you must live it. If you have lived, if you have seen the experience someone has gone through and you're able to give life back to that person, know you have that definition of hope. And anybody in any situation can define that word by living by sharing, by participating. Don't forget that this trouble, Sister Rosemary has spoken about it many times. Don't be surprised, I'm going to speak about it next week. And I'm not going to keep quiet. I'm not going to sit. That's why I asked you to get up, but none of you got up. I don't know why. Am I boring to you? We have to get up and stand together, united, to reconstruct broken pieces, broken lives of people. I can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. We need all to get together and confront this situation wherever we are. Be it in Uganda, be it here, let us be united and see there is something, a common interest we have to mend people's lives. You know, it's funny because you'll be wondering why I am here. I am here in Oklahoma because I decided to do a PhD program. It's very strange, isn't it? One student asked me, say, why are you studying? I told him, I said, I thought you were going to ask me, what are you studying? I guess I don't know why I'm studying. And one thing which deeply touches all these students, I live in a dorm with them. It's funny, for me, there's nothing wrong with living in a dorm, but they are surprised about a nun living in the dorm with them. I told them, I want to be here so that you get a chance to come and speak with me. I want to share in your life. Who knows if that is not an opportunity for me to give hope to somebody? I love to be there. I love to share in the lives of these students. Some of them see me and they take a step back, and I say, no. I live in this dorm. I am part of this dorm. And I love it because I don't think these students have ever got a nun who lived in a dorm with them. Maybe you? And I mean, it's very interesting for me. I love it because it is for me a great moment to let somebody be able to come and speak with me. Sometimes I sit and I say, this is where I can do something. It is not only in Uganda. I want to be open. And to tell you the truth, if you want to give hope to people, you must learn to be humble. You must learn to walk in their shoes. You have to learn to feel their pain. You must really go through that experience. If you don't go through that experience, if you ignore, if you don't want to live in a dorm, you will never get opportunity of giving hope. I don't see anything wrong with the dorm. The dorm has young people. Who said all people should be away from young people? Who said it? Let's be there. Let us become a book they can learn from. For me, it is interesting that everywhere I go, I find there is a situation, an opportunity where I can pass the message of hope. And everything I do in my life is a great lesson and a definition of what hope is, because I have lived through it. I failed to get the definition until I decided I will continue walking. I will do so many things. I will show these young people who suffered so much, who lost their chances of education, who feel that their life cannot be lived anymore, that they can live again. Their life can improve. Their tomorrow can be better. And all this because you and I care. Thank you so much for listening to me.